Coming up in the news.
MSC Cruise Lines and the government of the Bahamas solidifying a significant employment program. I'm Megan Shepard. Those details straight ahead.
Grand Bahamas' latest homicide taking place last evening. The victim believed to be in his late 20s. More details straight ahead.
And the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce holding elections. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shoshana Roll-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, a major cruise line calling on Grand Bahama this morning, launching a major partnership with the Bahamian government. This initiative expected to boost employment numbers here on this island. Megan Shepard has more.
An historic day for the island of Grand Bahama, as the first Bahamian crew member of the MSC Cruise Line was welcomed on board the MSC Divinia. In 2015, the government of the Bahamas and MSC entered into an agreement which would provide employment for Bahamians. However, the program never got off the ground. Some 5 years later, and Captain Pietro Sarcinella says he is pleased to have the first Bahamian crew member on board the ship.
It's just a matter to integrate also your people to our group. I'm sure that it will be very comfortable for them because we are habit for that. So we will make them to feel very comfortable on board. They will have all our assistance, and they will learn how to deal with the guests on the cruise vessel, which is also very interesting for them. They will really enjoy the time that they spend on board. Of course, it's a job, so there will be a lot of things to do, and they cannot just assume to come here and have a vacation on the cruise vessel. There will be a job to do, but there will be also a lot of activities for them.
Cruise Director Anna Werner says that future employees can look forward to a diverse work atmosphere.
We are so happy and excited to have our first Bahamian co-worker on board. We are looking forward to have a great partnership, and of course even seeing more and more of your people being here together with us to add a special flavor. As I told already, we have about 60 different nationalities on board, but still nobody from the Bahamas. So this is a great opportunity, and we are looking forward to get even more and more talented people to work with us.
Office Manager in the Office of the Prime Minister, Lady Naomi Wallace Whitfield, noting that this partnership is expected to provide some 220 jobs specifically for Grand Bahamians. She says the goal is to have all positions filled by 2021.
We started out with 17 who got letters of intent. When they went through the training, some didn't pass, so the successful candidates are now getting their post, and they're getting on board. As soon as they get their post, they send their tickets, and they're on board it. We were fortunate that they were in Freeport today, so Raymond was able to join.
Now, Raymond Culmer is the first lucky Bahamian to join the team. He says that while the training was intense, he is excited about the opportunity.
We had training with the Defense Force, we had training with the fire department. We had different professionals came in to teach us security and how to manage and work on the ship. So that was pretty exciting. Well, I decided to join. Believe it or not, you hear of vision boards, and about 10 years ago I had on my vision board that I wanted to go on a cruise. I've never been on a cruise anywhere, not even locally, and all of a sudden now here I'm working now on the greatest cruise ship going, MSC Divinia, and I'm excited about it. So dreams do come to pass.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Megan. Well, the Ministry of Tourism hosting a group of French and Portuguese tour operators on a familiarization visit to Grand Bahama this week. The ministry says the visit was arranged to acquaint the tour operators with Grand Bahama and equip them to more adequately sell this destination to customers in their respective markets. While here, the tour operators visited Taino Beach and Smith's Point, home to Grand Bahama's popular fish fry. There, the group mingled with locals and got an opportunity opportunity to sample a Bahamian staple, gully wash. Now, they were also able to participate in the Stingray excursion at Sandy Key with West End Ecology Tours. The tour operators also participating in site inspections at Viva Wyndham Fortuna Beach, all-inclusive resort, the Grand Lucine Resort, and Old Bahama Bay Resort. The visit to Grand Bahama was the first leg of a wider familiarization tour of the Bahamas, which included Nassau, the Exumas, and Eleuthera. In other news, the Grand Bahama Port Authority Limited affirming its commitment to ensuring the airport facilities are rebuilt in a timely manner and in the best interest of Grand Bahama. G.B.P.A. issuing a press release noting that it is firmly committed to the continued restoration and economic recovery of the city of Freeport and Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard has more.
Officials say the full return of international flights and the rebuilding of a permanent airport facility to boost the economy is of paramount focus. Acting Chairman of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Sarah St. George, says, given the inevitable reduction in the number of international commercial flights into Freeport at the present time due to the hurricane, they understand the responsibility of the Grand Bahama Airport Company to balance appropriate employment level with current operations. She adds that it is always with deep regret that such difficult decisions are made, and unfortunately, a number of employees were impacted, all of whom have been treated with fairness and respect. The G.B.P.A. confirms that they, along with their long-term partner in the Grand Bahama International Airport, Hutchison Port Holdings, are in ongoing discussions with the government of the Bahamas regarding a transition of ownership to the government. She says once the transition is completed, full details will be shared with all Grand Bahamians. She notes that all parties involved will continue to act in the best long-term interest of Grand Bahama. St. George assures that the rebuilding of the Grand Bahama Airport remains one of the utmost priorities for the G.B.P.A. and that they will move forward as expeditiously as possible and always in the best interest of residents, businesses, and the future of this beautiful island. The release concludes by noting that over the next few weeks, Grand Bahamians can look forward to the return of American Airlines and the eventual return of other airlines to help bring tourists, winter residents, and families back to Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce charting the way ahead for 2021. The business community holding the annual general meeting today to elect a slate of officers to manage the affairs of the business community during this difficult period. Greg LaRota holding on to the president's seat for the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, this time uncontested. The newly installed president says he is excited about continuing the charge of restoring businesses on Grand Bahama, especially post-Hurricane Dorian.
Dorian just left about 5 months ago, but we are already 4 months away from the next hurricane season. And so that plan has to include what if we have another direct hit that challenge the resources that we are just now trying to build back. And so I'm looking forward to that. The work would not be easy, but I have a very talented team that's going to be working along with me to facilitate that. And we want members of the business community and residents at large to come to the chamber, give us ideas, help, volunteer to be a part of a committee. Let's see if we can all work together.
But here's what he believes may be his greatest challenge this term.
My greatest challenge this year, I feel without a doubt, would be figuring out a way to get the government, G.B.P.A. Authority, in the same room at the same time, talking about moving Grand Bahama ahead and coming up with a plan in order for us to really get the economy of this island to move forward.
Nonetheless, the new president says he is satisfied with the chamber's accomplishments under his leadership last year.
We got the tax-free breaks. We got the incentives for person to purchase locally. We got assistance with capital. And so we want to push to continue that same effort moving forward.
The first Vice President is Mick Holding and second Vice President is Lawrence Palmer. A presentation was also given to ZNS Northern Service for their continued coverage of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce. Switching gears now, police are said to be making some headway into the investigation of a fatal shooting overnight. The victim, a young man, was gunned down in the Garden Villas community. Our Jamila Mizik picks up this story.
Police on Grand Bahama are actively investigating the circumstances surrounding the island's first reported homicide for the year. According to reports, the victim is believed to be in his late 20s. Officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Brian Roll.
Sometime yesterday evening, about 7 p.m., officers received reports of gunshots being heard in the area of the Weddell Avenue area. Officers attended at scene and found a male lying down with several shots about the body. EMS personnel were called. They removed that male, took him to the hospital. A short time later, received information that male had succumbed to his injuries. The police is currently actively investigating this particular murder.
Superintendent Roll says officers are actively patrolling areas like the Garden Villas community, which are considered hot spots at all times. And he's sending this strong message.
This is not a game. It's not a movie. It's reality. And when you shoot someone or you kill that person, they don't come back. It's the intention of the Royal Bahamas Police Force to pursue these persons with all efforts to try to bring these matters to a close. We just would like to say to the community in Grand Bahama, in fact, I will send this message out to the community in the Bahamas as our partners. Partner with us to make sure that we bring these persons to justice. These type of things cannot go unsolved.
Now, Roll says the motive has not been identified at this time, but officers are questioning several persons who are assisting in this matter. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, the U.S. Coast Guard cutter William Flores handing over 10 Chinese nationals to immigration officers yesterday evening. According to reports, the 7 males and 3 females were intercepted at sea in a small motorcraft heading west towards Florida on Monday. The vessel was piloted by a Bahamian male suspected of being in the business of smuggling of persons into the U.S. After interviewing all 11 persons, it was determined that the group would be returned to the Bahamas, while the Bahamian man would be detained by U.S. officials for further investigations and possible prosecution in the U.S. for human smuggling. The 10 Chinese were transported to immigration headquarters for further processing and were examined by the medical team from the Disease and Surveillance Unit of the PHA. The group of migrants all entered the Bahamas legally from China via Panama on board Copa Airlines and were admitted as visitors into the Bahamas sometime before Christmas 2019. Now, they are expected to be flown to the capital on Wednesday to be detained at the detention center until plans for their repatriation to China. And coming up, a big giveaway taking place in the back of town. The details of this story when we return.